Hare Krishna. My name is Tapapunj Das. We are in the Small Farm Training Center, field number 1. This is an instructional video about how to grow lettuce, how to properly process lettuce to make it marketable, and then of course how to market it. And it's part of our series on food independence and brahminical culture. It's April 6th. We are in southern Mississippi in New Taliban community. Thanks for taking the journey with us. Bed preparation is critical to getting good germination, good retention of water, easy tillage. So you see me here raking these beds out nice and flat. Then I'm putting in snap line, which is a mason line that I stretch from one end to the other, which marks exactly where I'm going to put those seeds in. So I keep everything absolutely parallel or perpendicular. So me driving in this pole barn nail, snapping the line, and then actually getting ready to plant. And here's what it looks like at the end. Also my seeds. The care of these seeds is critical. Put them in something like a vitamin bottle so it does not get weather worn or in any way damaged. One of the important skills to learn is how to work in a effective way so you're not burning up all your energy just bending back and forth, especially if it's a task as we're about to perform, like planting small seeded varieties of vegetables. So what I recommend to apprentices is to learn how to sit on the ground and perform what I call rowing. As you plant, you kind of, as you'll see, you row yourself back. And that's very different than repetitively bending your full torso back and forth, and wearing yourself out in no quick time. So I'd like to show you a very special way to plant lettuce and radish in a complementary way so that you're getting radish really early, in only 28 days, and you're getting the lettuce to germinate and to be ready in about 30, maybe 35 days or so. So on one side here I have oak leaf lettuce, which is a cutting lettuce that comes up in about 30 days. You can cut it and it'll come back maybe 3 times depending on weather conditions and fertility levels. In the other bowl here I have a type of radish that will be interplanted with it. The first step is you want to make a little planting ditch, and I do that with my fingers. I just drag them so the seeds are going in about 1 inch deep. Next is the twirling of it. Actually kind of a technique it takes a little time to learn, putting my lettuce seed in. Then I follow that up by interplanting radish about every 2 or 3 inches. You don't want to plant it too thick because it comes up first and you don't want it to shade out your lettuce. Then I seed it, which means actually putting that seed in so that it stays in position, and then I pinch over it and I create a little irrigation swale, you might call it, a way to keep the water retained as it goes in. Now I'm moving along to my second row because we're doing double rows. Same technique. Put your lettuce in by twirling it between your forefinger and thumb, followed up by putting some radish in every 3 or 4 inches so that they stand there like little guards. Once those radish are put in, then as you can see, I seed it so it can't be moved around, and then I knuckle it in, so to speak, so that there's a way to retain water. After seeding, of course, the plants come up, cultivation is critical. What you're seeing here are double rows, and I'm able to go into the middle, about an 18-inch gap, but also in between the plants as they come up. And this is critical because you're giving oxygen to the microorganisms that live in the soil, who are the real farmers. They're the ones who are actually doing the job of providing foodstuff to those plant root hairs. Okay, so here you see a bed that was planted maybe 2 weeks ago. It's up, it's running, but we're going now to a bed that was planted 6 weeks ago, and look, it's still able to be cultivated because of how we planned out those double rows. I'm still able to get that hoe in there, oxygenate it, and create water retention. All right, now we're going to go into the actual process of taking the lettuce from the ground. This is cutting lettuce. It means that you can cut it, it'll come back 3 times. I'm shaking it because it got sand on it from previous rain. It's really important that you look at what you're doing. I sometimes lay it on my lap, I fold it out, I take a good look at it, I pick out weird leaves, because perception is reality at the farmer's market. People are making very quick decisions about whether they want or don't want. You'll notice here I'm cutting, leaving about 2 inches. That's very important. You cut it too low, it'll die. The next phase, of course, is to wash the lettuce. I have 3 tubs. Sometimes lettuce only requires 2 washings, sometimes 3. You see here I'm taking it out of the harvest basket, moving it around vigorously inside the water, then I move it into the second tub. This is important. You want to pick that lettuce up and drain it. Let it run freely so that the sand all falls off of it or any other impurities. In the second tub, basically the same process. I move it around, pick it up, let it drain, and then finally I take it over to a drainage rack, which is an old wagon bed that works fine. And I move that around, I fluff it, I lift it, and that allows the water to drain off of it. That's going to sit for maybe half an hour. After it drains a little while, I begin putting it into a netted laundry bag. About 5 heaping handfuls make up a good load. Once that is nicely packed away, I seal it with a giant safety pin. Then I walk it over to my machine that's used exclusively just for lettuce. And you want to put, when you put it in the wash machine on spin cycle, I'm going to put 2 or 3 bags in, you want to make sure you balance that load. Okay, the final stage is after we spin dry that lettuce. Usually takes about 3 or 4 minutes. I usually do it twice. I carefully, and I repeat, carefully pull it out of there, because if you crack that lettuce, in other words, if an individual lettuce leaf is broken in half, right where it breaks, it oxidizes, and you take away from the longevity of that lettuce. Now, this lettuce is good and dry at this point, because if you put lettuce in a bag without it being perfectly dry, it will only last a few days, whereas the drier it is, the longer it lasts. And I tell people at the farmer's market, and it's true because I get feedback, that this lettuce lasts about 10 days in a refrigerator if it's properly cared for. About 3 heaping handfuls make up a pound, and I kind of shake the air out of it, fold it over, and then I put a rubber band on it so it doesn't fall apart on the customer. That's worth $5 right there. That's 1 pound of spring mix organic lettuce. And that's a really good deal, because normally at a place like, say, Whole Foods, also known as Whole Paycheck, organic spring mix lettuce costs about $8 a pound. So people feel that they're getting a fair deal. And as you can see here, when I get really enthusiastic, I can really pack that lettuce in the bag. I can really pack that lettuce in the bags. I can really pack that lettuce in the bags. Also important that the height that you work at is comfortable. Notice that this is about belly button high, and it makes the actual handling of that lettuce really easy. Finally, the table is cleared off. I load it up, I put it in the refrigerator overnight, and we're ready to go. 92% of the American public eats lettuce every day, and that's why we're taking it to market to support our farm project. So, of course, the selling of the produce is a great opportunity. We are darting around the Gulf Coast region into neighborhoods. We've developed buying clubs. We're out at the NASA Space Center, and it's a great way to engage people. people are looking for quality produce, especially organic, at an affordable price, and we're happy to render that service to them.